Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your weekly forecast for September 2nd through the 8th. Welcome to our new theme. We're in September. No more mermaids. We're going to see what's coming up in the week ahead for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm using 2 different oracle decks this week. I'm going to use one deck for your weekly messages, and then I'm going to pull a spirit message from this deck for you guys for like an overall week theme or meditation theme or healing theme, okay? Using oracle decks because I think a lot of people are in some heavy feelings right now or some deep feelings, so I think it's a good time to do that. So here is your Monday, Tuesday. Here is your, what no? Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday was a little hesitant to come out, Scorpio. So some of you might be finding yourself having to make a big decision in the middle of the week, or there might be something that's a little complex. We'll see. We'll see what it says. Oopsie. Oh my goodness. So this is something Scorpio knows well. Transition, right? We're all about transition and transformation, we Scorpios. So you're coming into a transition at this time and to a time of things changing, okay? There may be a bit of a crossroads. Scorpio, I feel for a lot of you, this transition is coming in the way of having to step over some rules that have been placed upon you. Okay, it's very interesting because this little thin rope is jumping out at me, and it made me think of the whole meme. I'm sure you guys have all seen it, but there's like that meme of like the donkey or the elephant that has a rope tied to, or like a leash, and it's like tied to like a little plastic lawn chair, and it just stays there because it doesn't realize that it's strong enough to move the chair or to walk off with it. So I feel like some of you may have had some rule that was placed upon you. This doesn't feel to me like a limiting belief, like where you're like, oh, I can't do it because I'm not good enough or I'm not smart enough or it won't work out for me. I don't feel it in that way. I feel it's something that you flat out in your life have been told not to do, or that you wouldn't be good at it, or that it's not for you, or you would embarrass your family if you did it, or just something like that, right? Like, that's not our way, that's not our culture, that's not our religion, that's not our belief, something along those lines. And you're stepping over that little thin boundary. You're realizing that, hey, you know what? I can do it. Right? Like there's really not a lot stopping me. I'm an adult, I'm grown. And so you're feeling like you just cannot take it. You cannot stand to spend any more time standing here. You're like, this is dumb. Why am I here with this little weird thing? I just step over, I go, I'm free, I live my life, I'm happy. So a lot of you Scorpios are getting ready to take, and I'm not going to say a leap, I'm going to say a very cautious step into a new journey, okay? Because this is something, it's different from the Fool card. The Fool card, you kind of take this leap of faith and things happen very fast. I don't feel this is going to be a fast thing, but it's definitely the first step towards something very massive and something very big. I encourage you to take a screenshot of it, to take a pause and take a look at it and see what's jumping out at you. I see the crown on her head, so that's standing out at me, like you're seeing your power, your ability, your authority, your ability to make wise decisions and take the lead over yourself and in your life. This looks like she's wearing a wedding dress. So those of you who've been blocked in love, as you're taking this step forward, it's aligning you with possibly a life partner. And then this kind of makes me feel in some way like, I don't know, it makes me think of like, what do you call them? Not tombs, but in the funeral, sometimes they have like the big thing. God, not catacomb. So somebody will say in the comments, you know what I'm talking about. Just the place, like the little stone building that houses like a coffin. Like the families would have them, and they would like have their own little. It's like a little stone house for like the coffin or the final resting place. But I feel like you're stepping over that line, that little thin tradition or whatever. And I feel some of you may be moving away from the traditions of your family and making your own, or you may be moving away from some of the things that your culture or your upbringing has imposed on you. Some of you may be breaking away from a family line. And I know those of you who are into spirituality or into psychic work or things like that, that's a very controversial subject, because there's some people who are like, no, you have to work with your ancestors, and that's so disrespectful. But maybe some of you are coming from a line that's not so bad to break away from. So that might be what some of you are doing. Some of you maybe just kind of like, changing your modality, or just feeling like it's time to go in your own direction, go into your own identity, go into your own way, regardless of if it has anything to do with spirituality or not. I just feel like you guys are going off and living life in the way that is going to be aligning you most with love and peace and joy and doing good for others, and away from some of the things that have been imposed or forced upon you. Your Wednesday, Thursday card here is Innocence. Oh my God, this keeps coming up, you guys. This is like our stalker card for the week. And it's coming up kind of like midweek for some of us. So Innocence is coming up. This also came up for Sagittarius. And I think it may also have come up for Pisces. So the last 3 videos it's come up, and I shuffled. You saw me shuffle. So some of you may be dealing with a Sagittarius or a Pisces that's involved in this situation. You may be connecting with a Sagittarius or a Pisces that's taking you back to a more happier or peaceful time that you might have a sentimental connection with. This actually made me laugh because I'm a Scorpio, and I do have plans with a Pisces from my childhood on Wednesday, and that's like definitely for me a confirmation of like a simpler time. But so it makes me feel, Scorpio, that you guys may also have, you may be running into or connecting with or reaching out to or hearing from a Pisces or Sagittarius, simply because this card came up for them as well, but not necessarily. Let's put the zodiac aside, because sometimes that confuses and complicates things. But so something is happening midweek where you're having a chance to be in this joy. I also feel, Scorpio, some of you have been labeled as a black sheep for a very long time in your family or in your circle of friends. I feel like some of you, God forbid, I feel like some of you are about to find out that there has been some not so nice talk about you. Okay, as you're getting ready for this transition, there's people around you that know, and they see it coming. They knew it was coming before you even realized it was coming, and they see that you might be very close to some big change. And there may be some envy, there may be some disapproval. People have different reasons for why they want to hate on somebody else. So there might be something coming your way in terms of news in the early part of the week that midweek you're going to be able to take some time to recover from or to heal from. And you might be being comforted by someone who's like, hey, you know what, I have your back, I love you, I don't care what other people are saying, like they're just narrow-minded, or they don't understand, or they're still asleep. So I do feel, Scorpio, in this instance or in this way, there's something happening where this innocence is coming for you in terms of being comforted because you might be hearing that people have been saying, people close to you, like I'm not talking about like coworkers or just like people that from around the way that they can be haters anyway. You might find that people close to you have been saying some things, or just really being very judgmental about you or your new path. And so somebody may be coming up midweek where you're receiving that reassurance that there is somebody still in your corner, there is somebody still who has your back, there is somebody still who loves you. I also feel, Scorpio, like even though you're receiving that comfort, you're realizing for yourself that you're not a bad person, and you're realizing that those labels or those things that were put upon you were coming from people that they don't understand. Like they can't understand anything that's different from them, but that doesn't make you bad. I also feel, Scorpio, like you're forgiving yourself for your past mistakes. We all have them, but you're forgiving yourself for things you did in the past that you wish that you had done differently. And you're just realizing that you're worthy of love in this moment now as you are. Some of you might also be developing a friendship or a relationship with the sex that you date. Okay, I can't say with the opposite sex because not everybody dates the opposite sex, and we all know that it's quite a controversial subject now in terms of what people identify as sex or gender anyway. But whatever you usually date, or whatever, I feel like that which you are attracted to, that gender, that that sex, you may be developing a friendship with that gender. But again, like, this is like in an innocent way, maybe a puppy love kind of way, or like a way where you're taking things very, very slow. Like, you're not wanting to rush into lust or rush into bed. Like, you're wanting to have that connection, and you're wanting to get to know each other on a very sweet or kind level. I also feel, Scorpio, some of you are learning to connect with people on a much simpler level, right? This makes me think of like two little kids on the playground. Like, do you like dinosaurs? Yeah, I like dinosaurs. Let's get married. Like, kids. I used to teach preschool, and I used to hear all kinds of like little conversations like that, and it would make me laugh. And I'm like, could you imagine as an adult if it were that easy? Like, do you like peanut butter? Yeah, I like peanut butter too. Let's get married. So like, you might be finding ways to connect with people. Like, maybe love life has been complicated for you because you've been looking for some complex things, because you're a complex person. Scorpios can be very complex, but you're realizing that, hey, I can kind of simplify this. I can dial this back. I can take this back, and I can connect with people in a simpler way, in the way that just kind of make us all human. Kids are really great about that. Kids don't get hung up on all of the crazy things we get hung up on. They're able to connect in the basic common trait kind of ways. And so I feel, Scorpio, some of you are going to be able to do the same. Your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is perception. So this journey ahead of you, if it's going to be positive or negative, easy or hard, good or bad, all comes down to how you're seeing it, right? This also made me think of the movie. It's so funny. There's an ongoing theme here. And, this is a general reading, so it's not going to be true for all of you, right? And I'm a Scorpio, so I'm kind of getting nervous as this stuff's coming in. Also, I don't know if I want it to be true for me. But again, we got to be open-minded with what's coming up. Remember how I was saying the whole thing about how you might have people that didn't understand you or labeled you in a certain way? When I was looking at this card, and it just made me think of, like, the plays and stuff, all of a sudden the play Wicked popped up in my head. And if you're not familiar with the play Wicked, it's kind of like a spin-off The Wizard of Oz, and it's supposed to be how the Wicked Witch really wasn't wicked. Like, she was good and she was trying to help or bring change, but because she looked different, and because she ended up, dying, and Glenda outlived her, Glenda completely, or Glinda or Glenda or whatever her name is, so the good witch, she completely and totally changed the story, right? And she told it in a way that favored her, and made the other witch the bad one. I'm forgetting her name. Made the green witch the bad one. So I feel, as you're moving forward and you're having certain people say these things about you, or acting like you're selfish, or you're going down this wrong path, you're going to have to remind yourself, this is these people's perception, right? I'm not going to take their perception as my identity. They choose to see what they choose to see. Like, I'm just a mirror, and they might be seeing negative parts of themselves within me because they're projecting something that they're not comfortable with. But I'm not going to take that on me. I'm not going to take their perceptions or their projections upon myself and internalize them or absorb them. This is especially important if you're an empath. Okay, remember that you don't have to take that upon yourself. Like an actor in a play, you know, the audience is going to see what they resonate with. The audience is going to see what they love. The audience is going to see what they hate within themselves and identify with those things. So this is a time when I do feel, Scorpio, like a lot of you are getting a lot of attention that you're not asking for, and a lot of opinions that you're not asking for. But you have to keep in mind that people are going to have their perceptions, and people are going to see about you what is within themselves, what they love about themselves, what they hate about themselves. And you need to practice being in the mindset of not letting it go to your head if it's positive, and not letting it hurt you if it's negative or if it's unfavorable. You have to understand that that's their issue and not to take it upon yourself. Okay, my dears? I strongly suggest that you watch your moon sign and rising sign videos as well, because some weeks those are going to resonate with you more than others. It might bring in some little extra tidbits of information that could be very helpful. Those of you who want more of a love reading, we didn't focus a whole lot on love in the weekly forecast because I do the love reading separate on this channel. So if you click on the love playlist for September that's in the description of the video, it will take you to the September love readings for all the signs, including Scorpio. And if you would like a private reading, I'm more than happy to do that for you. You can click on the Calendly link in the description of the video, and it will take you to the scheduling page where you can schedule a private reading with me. And all the questions you have are there, I promise you. What type of readings I offer, what the costs are, how to schedule. It's all in that link, my darling. So go ahead and check that out if you would like a private reading. I thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Thank you for supporting on social media, Amethyst Angellight, Facebook and Instagram. And I am wishing you all a fabulous week.